Supermarkets sell the promise of effortless health, but zero-fat labels often serve as a front for synthetic chemistry. Stripping natural fats from a product lowers production costs, but it also destroys the food's structure, leaving it flavorless and unappealing. To reclaim missing texture, manufacturers utilize starchy, sugary fillers that trick the palate. This chemical substitution provides a historical baseline for the diet industry. These specific combinations of refined fillers create a hyper-palatable product. These formulas are designed to override the brain's natural satiety signals, leading to unintended overconsumption. Food manufacturers prioritize engineered zero-fat formulas to maximize profit margins while increasing repeat purchases. This reliance on modified products coincides with the widespread myth of calorie counting. Artificially restricting energy intake triggers the body's ancient evolutionary starvation response. This starvation response forces a spike in severe hunger cravings. Over time, these hormone-driven impulses drive long-term obesity rather than preventing it. Maintaining willpower against these biological signals is difficult because the physical retail environment is financially rigged against the consumer. Food empires pay massive premiums to secure eye-level and end cap placements, maximizing the visibility of high-margin, ultra-processed goods. Retailers calculate these placements to target consumers at their point of maximum exhaustion, ensuring synthetic snacks are prominent when resistance is lowest. This commercial geography effectively mathematicalizes diet failure, using shelf space to exhaust consumer willpower. We can track the impact of industrial manufacturing by looking at a standard factory-produced loaf of white bread. Roughly 30% of people now report regular digestive distress they attribute to gluten. However, clinical testing reveals that only a tiny fraction of the population actually possesses a medical gluten sensitivity. Modern industrial baking relies on a cocktail of emulsifiers, gums, and preservatives to hold low-quality ingredients together. These industrial glues allow bread to stay shelf-stable for weeks, but they act as a biological irritant. The human gut microbiome evolved over millions of years to process natural fibers. It has no biological mechanism to safely break down these modern synthetic binding agents. The bloating and discomfort following a meal signal a direct biological rejection of the additives used to maintain industrial food structures. When the gut lining is compromised, the systemic consequences extend directly to long-term cognitive health. Long-term epidemiological data reveals a startling connection between local hygiene and brain decay. Clinical studies show that basic oral care, like flossing, correlates to a nearly 50% reduction in dementia risk. Neglected hygiene creates an environment where inflammation-loving microbes breed in the mouth and gut. These rogue bacteria can eventually enter the bloodstream and cross the blood-brain barrier. The vagus nerve serves as a primary biological highway, carrying 80% of its signals directly from the digestive system to the brain. This neural pathway allows for the continuous migration of microbes, providing a constant inflammatory tickle to the brain's immune system. The brain interprets this chronic inflammation as an active infection, triggering behavioral shutdowns that manifest as depression, fatigue, and eventual cognitive decay. Many conditions categorized as purely genetic or mental illnesses are frequently the end-stage results of an inflamed and chemically disrupted digestive tract. Reversing this damage requires a diet built on 30 different plant varieties per week and daily portions of fermented foods. This specific plant diversity provides the biological fertilizer necessary to rebuild beneficial gut microbes and dampen systemic inflammation. However, the time and cost required for this ideal diet contrasts sharply with the reality of subsidized, ultra-processed food. Millions live in food deserts where fresh produce is physically unavailable. In these zones, synthetic, hyper-processed calories are the only accessible option for survival. This geographic and financial isolation traps millions in a cycle of cheap caloric intake and inevitable medical decline. The corporate food matrix has created a tiered system where optimal cognitive health is increasingly a purchased privilege. Corporate food systems prioritize shareholder profit over human biological requirements, turning the modern diet into a mechanism for wealth extraction. To understand the hidden systems controlling your health, subscribe to the CEO Brief.